Hey guys, it's Mac from Simple Theory Gear. I hope you guys are all doing really well. Today, a video for you that it's been running through my mind for about a month or so. And I've tried to get some time to do it, but haven't really had time. Want to bust it out today. And it may sound odd at first, but really it's all about how to purchase a stove. And it's not at all dealing with how to go onto our website and purchase a pack stove, but really the philosophy or the guideline that I would offer somebody of purchasing any outdoor product, but especially stoves. And that's what we're going to focus on today. If in the future you guys want to talk about knives or tents or bags or anything else, we can do that. But today I want to talk about stoves. Because at the end of the day, I know that Simple Theory Gear is a business, right? I hate that fact. I can't tell you enough. I hate capitalism. I disdain money. I hate it. I think it's an evil. We can argue that it's a necessary evil, fine. I just hate it, especially between friends. I hate it. But from that hatred, and from that, in a sense, fear or anxiety-causing construct, I want to make sure that whatever you purchase, if you're purchasing from us or another company, that your money is spent well. So I have 5 C's that I wrote out because I know people love the 5 C's of survivability. So 5 C's of purchasing. And we're going to use, this is here right now, the pack stove is here, how it comes, with the original burn plate or with the speed plate. It's here as a benchmark so I can kind of show you some things like visualization. So take it as that. So to begin with, compatibility. All right, the first C, and the first two, compatibility and concept, kind of go hand in hand. But compatibility is it compatible with your system? And when I say system, I don't mean only or necessarily the kind of bag you have, or if you have a cool bushcraft belt or things like that. What I'm talking about system-wise or systematically is what is your philosophy of use? And I know that is a huge, what's the guy's name? He always uses philosophy of use. But really that's what it should always start with. It should always come back to, is it compatible with what you're looking for? If you are an ultra-light hiker and looking to save ounces because to you, grams are ounces, ounces are pounds, and pounds are no good in the backcountry, this is not the stove for you. It's not. It's at 11 ounces. It is too heavy of implement. Plus, you still have to figure out, if it rains, how you're going to cook your meal. Where a canister stove, like a little dragonfly or something like that, is probably going to be better for you in the long run. But now, if your compatibility aligns with what my needs are small cook set. I go a lot of times solo hiking. I just like to boil food, or the meals I cook are in a small 8-inch frying pan. They're not gourmet at all, compatible with me. If you are along those same lines, there you go. If you want to cook bigger meals, this is not the stove for you. If your system is, I do more state park hiking, or I do some backcountry, maybe an overnight, but I like to bring in, steaks and bacon and eggs and all this other stuff, you're pushing the weight limit in a sense of this stove. And same thing with other small stoves. This is built to hold cast iron, but if you're looking at keeping a steady flame going for a 14-inch cast iron pan, that's a lot. That's a lot. Can it do it? Probably. You will be meticulously feeding and everything, and it won't be very fun. You need a bigger stove. That's fine. And also with your system, and this is where you can go back to that bushcraft belt or your pack system or whatever you have. For me, I know that I can throw in my water bottle, and this will go right down into my bottle sleeve, and so I don't have any worry about space requirements. It's compatible with that system. Then I would say take your philosophy and you have to match it with what is the concept of the stove. And this is where my big pet peeve comes in, just side note for knives. I'm a huge knife fan, but when people start talking about knives and they start thinking, oh, they can do all these other things, there's this kind of huge one tool, I hate it. What is the true nature? And I think it comes back to a good thing, you're talking to the developer. What is the intent behind this? This is intended for, again, 1 to 2 people, lots of miles, heavy use, multiple fuel application. That's what it is. Rehydrate meals, boil water, coffee, cook light meals, what it is. You can't ask a non-living entity to be better than what it was intended for. That's just my personal feelings. So if you were looking, again, to look for cooking bigger meals, look at bigger stoves. There's some great options out there, but that is something to take into account. The next one is construction, because just because it's a big stove doesn't mean it's a good stove, right? There are now like bigger folding stoves and things like that that are still built with that 20, maybe 22 gauge stainless steel, and they'll just say stainless steel, so you really don't know what kind of stainless steel that is. It's just a steel. So you want to look into, in terms of, again, the concept, this is built heavy, 18 gauge steel, which is thicker. The lower the number, the thicker. And then the burn plates are 16, even thicker than the body, which of course adds to that weight. But the construction is also uniform. All right, it's of solid construction, has one moving part. All right, for me, I don't like a lot of moving parts, and I'll be perfectly honest. I don't mean to. I always kind of slam on them. I don't like jigsaw puzzle stoves. One, because I think that they're just all carbon copies of each other. You know, they may have a different faceplate cut out, or the window may be bigger, or there's some slight changes. But when you look at the main downfall, which is warping, they all still have that same possible issue. So when I think also about construction too, do I want to get into the camp late at night when it's dark, can't find my headlamp, and have to fit a stove together? Absolutely not. No, don't want it. That's me. Again, that's my concept. That's my philosophy. Don't want to do it. So also looking at construction, and this, I guess, will go into materials. Make sure they have premium materials, even if you're only going to use it once, twice, especially if you're only going to use it once or twice. Because if it gets wet or gets whatever, and you put it away, you don't want it to rust on you. The biggest question then goes back to titanium, and that'll be more back to your compatibility. Do you really need titanium? If you're going to a KOA and car camping, it's nice to say I have a titanium stove. Do you need to pay the extra money? Like, is that, or even better, is the titanium version of that stove any better than the stainless steel version of that stove? For us, to be perfectly honest with you, and I'm sure people will turn off the video right now, we probably won't do a titanium version. Because from the we researched everything from the manufacturer. Just the stove cost per stove was $77, I think, that we were quoted. I think that is atrocious. And I want to keep everything made in America. I'm sure I could outsource it to some Chinese entity and have that less, but in terms of, again, my concept, my philosophy, I want to keep things in America, which is also a part of construction. Where's the stove made? Do your research. Don't fall for country codes or small writing or kind of like things kind of nondescript. If that's important to you, make sure it's important. In terms of what's really important to me, the next C is convenience. And again, it goes into just having one moving part, putting it on there. The convenience of, if this is hot, I pour water on it. If it's been snowing, I just drop it in the snow, put it right back into my kit. Absolutely convenient for me. I don't have to take it apart. I don't have to worry about pegs or missing pieces, or did I fold it right? Do I have all 6 pieces that I need? Anything like that. But also with convenience, ask yourself what you're willing to do. Are you willing to, one, put the stove together, and then because it's a smaller stove, feed all and time again? Because I'll make a video about, in terms of the convenience of feeding the pack stove. I purposely let, in the first one, we're making some changes, but the input for air is blocked off a little bit so that it didn't race through fuel. Of course, that means it's not going to burn as hot, but it does mean it's going to burn longer. So you always have those balancing acts to try to do. So again, what is convenient for you? Finally, cost. And I say finally because I think that should be the last indicator. Unless that is your number one concern, cost, can't fault you for that. Like I said, I hate money. I hate money. In terms of the pack stove cost, just to address that briefly, we have yet to make a single penny on our stove. I'm not going to fault you if you want to go buy a Chinese-made stove because they're $17, $25, and they work. Never going to fault you for that. Good for you. Please then don't fault us for pricing our stove at $32 because we have to recoup costs for our research, our prototypes, our development, buying the stock, paying American wages and American workers. That's my only gripe. You know, I understand capitalism. I understand how it works. When we first came out, we had it priced at $43 because I looked around and that was what was competitive, and we needed to recoup, you know, the a lot of money that we dropped on all of it. But with the economic crisis, we dropped the price significantly because I talked to my wife and we made the decision that, okay, we won't recoup the cost, you know, in our 1 year timeline that we were aiming for. That's okay because we want to make sure that people get a high quality American-made product. But in terms of cost, understand that when you're paying a lower cost for a Chinese product, that may equate to an American company having to price their prices higher because we have to offset that. It's kind of like supply and demand. When the demand is lower, you would think that you would have to kind of rear back your prices, but you're still having to compete with other American companies. It's what it is. I hate it. Just know that I think that should be your last because all the other things are more important. Especially if you're planning to buy 4 Chinese stoves when you can buy 1 American stove. That's where it is. So, I actually have a 6th C, real quick, collective, all those things together. I think they should go in that order. Nutnfancy, that's whose philosophy of use. In that order, on that page, into your purchase. Making sure that it's everything. And one thing, on my notes I forgot, in terms of convenience, making sure that your stove is not a one-trick pony. There are some stoves that are strictly twig stoves. That's great if, again, you're only going out for maybe a day, you're able to plan, it hasn't been raining, you know there's dry tinder, perhaps you're bringing some of your own in. That's great. I would suggest you look for a stove like the pack stove, if you don't want this one, we can do alcohol, sterno, wood pellet, charcoal, solid fuel, campfire. We're working on Trangia, working on all this other stuff, but you want to have versatility. You're paying money, and I think that versatility should come standard. If you're already paying money, like with ours, which you get, you can do all those things I just listed with what you have. You've seen me use the hose clamp in front of here. That's to maximize the amount of wood pellets you can put in, but you don't need to do that for charcoal or alcohol stoves or dry alcohol or solid fuel cubes. You know, I don't think you should have to buy other things. So those are my C's. If you have any of your own, I would love to hear them. Put them on there. Let's have the conversation. There's another C pun for you. Because I think we should all help each other out. There's too much YouTube influence and not enough consumer pushback. And that's why I try to be as transparent as I can. This stove very well it's definitely not for everyone. You know, and to make it more personal, it may not be for you, and that is fine. But I want to make sure that you know what you're looking for and how you should be looking for it. But we should help each other too. So let me know your thoughts, and we'll see you right here on the next Simple Theory Gear. Thanks, guys.